entrepreneur. Now, let me go to the presentations, please. Is my slides visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Thank you. Mr. Kochausef Chitlapilli from VGOD started with just 1 lakh rupees borrowed from his father and 2 unskilled laborers, now having 2,217 employees plus 2,566 crore in revenue as on financial year 2018-19. Mr. Kochausef Chitlapilli is an Indian businessman and the founder and managing director of VGOD Industries Limited, a chain of amusement park together with, namely VGOD, Kochi and Wonderla, Bangalore, as well as the patron of textile brand V-Star and lots of social support initiatives. Mr. Kochausef won many prestigious awards and recognitions like the Rashtriya Samman awarded by the Government of India for the highest taxpayer from the Honorable Union Minister of State for Finance. Further, Tourism Man of the Year 2000 by Destination Kerala and Millennium Businessman of Kerala. Further, he authored a book, The Practical Wisdom in Real Life and Management, which is an account of practical management techniques from his personal experience as an entrepreneur. Now, let's move on to the detail of his biography. It is a true story of Mr. Kochausef Chitlapilli, the founder owner of VGOD, and at the same time, the business case of the premier brand and the voltage stabilizer business in Kerala, India. Mr. Kochausef was born in 1950 at Parapur, a quite a laid-back village, far a few kilometers away from Thrissur, district capital of Kerala. Fortunately, it's my hometown too. He was the first of 6 children of his parents in a traditional Christian agriculture family, attended a very local parish church school. In those non-electrified days of his childhood, his home was one of the first electrified in his area. Though the new household machineries were a rarity then, he was lucky to have the luxury of an electric fan and an electric water pump at home. These machines ignited the curiosity about the magic of the inner workings of the machines in him. He admired the machine operators of his family-owned rice mill and a tile factory, who followed them everywhere, badgering them with endless questions about those intriguing machines and its inner secrets. Naturally, due to the love of machines, after the high school, he continued his formal education in science and subsequently completed an MSc in physics, then took up the post of a trainee supervisor in an electrical and electronics products manufacturing company at Trivandrum, Kerala. It was just for the stipend of rupees 150 per month. Spent 3 years at this company, gained much knowledge and experience, and had been promoted to junior engineer with a salary of 850 rupees, even though it was a good amount in the 1970s. Gaining experience in their R&D department, naturally, he thought of becoming a research assistant in Baba Atomic Research or even in ISRO, and tried many, but unfortunately, nothing turned up. So his employer organization was not doing well and no other jobs on the horizon. He decided to start out on his own with a small scale stabilizer unit to cash in on one of the then persistent market pain, where he can positively utilize all that he has. His passion for the inner workings of machines, a Master of Science qualification in physics, R&D experience in electrical and electronics, etc. The initial asset was, as we mentioned before, the confidence that he could compensate rupees 850 per month salary by selling at least 50 stabilizers per month. Further, the borrowed amount of rupees 1 lakh from his father, plus 2 skilled workers, a lot of help from the friends. He started the unit in a single room at Ernakulam, Kerala, getting the V from Volt and a kangaroo mascot to indicate the protection. VGOD was on its way since 1977. In a short span of 1 year, the staff strength grew from 2 to 20 and sales increased, competing with leading brands by finding niche markets in refrigerator sales. The consumer electronics boom of the 1980s helped to have tremendous growth in business, especially in the 90s. They enjoyed a high visibility in the market. Now, let us see a bit about the environment of the situation of while he is initiating the business. In 1970s, those were the days of continuously interrupted power supplies due to the nascent conditions in the power generation and distribution systems that is heavily depending on the seasonal rainfalls without the alternative arrangements like the national grids, etc. And that in turn keep damaging many of the electrical home appliances such as good old refrigerators, television sets, as well as many of the office occupants of those days. Mostly everyone was cursing their fate and public distribution systems while an equipment got affected badly due to the power fluctuations. But nobody was doing anything to the point of solving a wide enough problem on which an entire industry is then built on. The innovative concept of a separate voltage stabilizer to protect the then valuable appliances was gradually catching up. Among the common public, for the most part, the majority didn't even understand neither the inner workings nor the importance of such surge protection systems on those days. In such a world, it was a necessity to create awareness together with the product promotions to facilitate the smooth and steady sales revenue flow. Since then, in a world that is ever growing younger, brand regard to stay aspiring relevant, it has to be in a relentless quest to understand relevant human life and its growing relationship with the innovative tools and technologies used to create seamless life experiences in all walks of life. Further, as in every story, every thrilling epic, then comes a villain in the form of a severe labor problem in 1984, forced V-Guard to outsourcing production of their produce to charitable units. It remains largely the same now. About 60% of the total production is still being outsourced by V-Guard. Then comes the diversification. It is during the occasional family vacations abroad with his family consisted of young children and visits to amusement parks there for the kids' sake. That is when Mr. Kochausev was excited on thoughts of diversification. Then he started toying with an idea of amusement parks in Cochin, Kerala, like those that in the overseas holiday destinations, like in the Disney World and all that. Consequently, the Vigaland amusement park at Ernakulam district of Kerala materialized a few years later in the year 2000. A theme park of much larger scale was envisioned 5 years later, and Wonderland Bangalore followed. While the Vigad was still growing, his wife Sheila Kochausev was very creative and efficient, voiced an interest in launching a brand for ladies' wear. Since the children were away at college, as well as she was being a capable person, he did not discourage her. And the successful brand, V-Star, was born. Now his two sons, Mr. Mithun and Arun, along with their wives Priya and Joshna, are actively involved in nurturing the business into the further heights. Currently, Mr. Kochausev Chitlapalli, the chairman emeritus of V-Guard, is continuing with a very peaceful life. He wrote a book on practical wisdom in real life and management, the practical insights for entrepreneurs from decades of his holistic, successful entrepreneurial experience. A highly respected figure in the social strata, as still actively involving in the many CSR activities. Now, let us move on to the organizational chronology of V-Guard. V-Guard Industries Limited, based in Kochi, Kerala, is now a multi-product company catering to the mass consumption market, a dominant player in the South Indian market. Built in 1997, all the growth started from the formation of a partnership concern, that is Premier Electronics by Mr. Kochausev, for manufacturing and marketing voltage stabilizers under the brand name V-Guard. In 1985, Chitlapalli started another partnership concern by the name of Prompt India Marketing for the marketing of products under the brand name of V-Guard. In 1992, Premier Electronics dissolved and Chitlapalli continued the business as a proprietary concern. In 1996, subsequently, Mazars Prompt India changed its name to Mazars V-Guard Industries. V-Guard Industries Limited was incorporated under the Companies Act 1956. In 1997, April 1st, V-Guard Industries took over the business of the proprietary concern Mazars V-Guard Industries on an ongoing concern basis for a lump sum consideration of rupees 234 lakhs and carried on the business of the firm. Manufacturing and marketing of electronic and electromechanical appliances. In 2001, V-Guard Industries was converted into a private limited company. 2007, August 1, converted into a public limited company in the name of V-Guard Industries Limited. 2008, entered in capital market with an IPO of 80 lakhs of equity shares of rupees 10 each. Now it has a market value of 10,281 crores. Now we are moving on to the organizational structure of the company. As we have heard, Mr. Chitlapalli as the chairman emeritus, then there are working chairman as well as a managing director. Under working chairman, there were independent directors of different capacities, and under the managing director, the company secretary, auditor, as well as executive directors, additional directors, etc. Now let's just have a look on the leadership team. Mr. Kochausep, MSc Physics, 44 years of entrepreneurial experience, now chairman emeritus. Mr. Cherian and Punus, FCA, 40 plus years of experience in the field of finance, audit, and administration with Cochin Refineries Limited as Director of Finance and was on the board of Petronet CCK, a BPCL venture, as well Chairman, Non-Executive Independent Director. Mr. Midhun K. Chitlapalli, son of Mr. Kochausep. He is having an MBA from University of Melbourne, Australia, 6 years of experience in Deloitte and Hewlett Packard. Currently working as the managing director of V-Guard. Mr. V. Ramchandran, 30 years of cross-functional experience across Hindustan Unilever and LG Electronics. Right now, functioning as the director and chief operating officer. Mr. George Muthu Jacob, Masters in Law from the University of Warwick, UK, Masters in Management from CASS Business School, London, expertise in the areas of general management, marketing, legal, finance, risk management, etc. Non-executive independent director, he is functioning now as. Further, Mr. CJ George, MCOM FCP, founder and managing director of Geojit Financial Services Limited, with 35 years of professional experience in the investment services. Non-executive independent director as of now. Mr. Ullas Kamath, LLB CA CS, with an advanced management degree from the Wharton Business School, USA, as well as Harvard Business School, USA. Joint managing director of Jyoti Laboratories Limited now, and working in the capacity of non-executive independent director. Further, Radha Unni, AIIBF, Chief General Manager, State Bank of India, retired of the Kerala Circle, with 36 years of experience in banking sector, that is with credit and project appraisal of small, medium, and large projects. SBI Capital Markets overseeing public issues, debt placements, project appraisal, etc. She is functioning as the non-executive independent director too. Professor Viju Varki, MHRM, fellow of NIBM Pune, faculty at IIM Ahmedabad in Human Resources Management, and having consulting assignments with leading organizations across the globe, functioning as the non-executive independent director as of now. Further, Mr. B. Jayaraj, become CA Inter non-executive director. Now let's have a look at the business model of V-Guard. As we all know, the value proposition is somewhat like affordable yet quality products in electronics, electrical, consumer durable segment with an extended product range. As we know, a lot of appliances. We'll go through it in detail while we are discussing on the product side. So we are not going further in detail here. And they are dealing with the customer segments of the mass market, all households, hotels, resorts, hospitals, as well as other public and commercial facilities. And they are keeping the relationships, customer relationships, through awareness campaigns, print and visual media, digital marketing, and as well as the partner networks. The channels they are having is a nationwide distribution network through 29 branches, 624 distributors, 5,562 channel partners, 20,000, 25,000 plus retailers. Now let us have a look at the left-hand side of the business model, starting from the key activities of business development, order procurement from partner channels, material procurement, production, distribution and logistics, organization development, team development, and maintenance. And to accomplish all these activities, they're having key resources with talented executive leadership, management team, production team, sales team, channel partners, as well as key partners like outsourcing partners, raw material suppliers, distributors, channels, media partners, online sales platforms, investors, executive leadership, management, and production team. All this will cost the cost structure of through procurement, salaries, incentives, training, distribution, business development, office business systems, working capital, reserve, capital expenditure, other capital expenditure of any, as well as marketing and sales. And the expected revenue streams are channel partners, OTC, brand sales, and through other distributors and retails, especially even including on the online channels. Now let us move on to the customer and product. We got still outsources 60% of its product profile, while the rest are manufactured in-house at the manufacturing facilities at Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, Kashipur in Uttaranchal, and Kala Amp in Himachal Pradesh. With thoughtfully designed products in its endeavor to enrich its consumers' lives forever. Diversification of the product range into the electronics, electrical, consumer durables segments was a natural progression. Now, if we go through, there are around 21 different products they are promoting, starting from voltage stabilizers, digital UPS, inverter and inverter batteries, electric water heaters, solar water heaters, domestic pumps, agriculture pumps, industrial motors, domestic switch gears, distribution boards, riding cables, industrial cables, induction cooktops and mixer grinders, fans, rice cooker, many of the appliances, further the kitchen appliances, as well as solar water heaters and air coolers. It has a leadership position in its flagship product, the voltage stabilizers, with our 51% market share in Kerala. And those sort of brand reputation has been built on sheer passion and continuous quest to understand its consumer better, with stringent quality control measures, reliable products, talented people, and a responsible approach to business. We got continues to steadily capture the hearts of the people across the country. The company has a strong nationwide distribution network, as we have seen just before in the business plan, the business model of 29 branches to 624 distributors, 5,000 plus channel partners, and 25,000 plus retailers. And service centers in endeavor to reach every nook and corner of the country. We got grow rapidly to become a name synonymous with the voltage stabilizers across India. Very soon, the brand expands its wings and is now available across the length and breadth of the country with a wide range of products further in its pipeline. Let us move on further, the reasons for the success. As we all know, behind any venture, behind any success, there are a sort of set of reasons. So if we go further, it is evident from the detailed analysis, the exemplary success of such a venture was not just accidental. Instead, it was the result of an uncompromised pursuit of its mature and qualified leadership. Here, if we observe close enough, we could identify a pattern of classic entrepreneurial characteristics. We could identify a pattern of classic entrepreneurial characteristics in its founder himself. Just see, he born ordinary, as a very ordinary person, in an ordinary situation. The technology excited him. Talent and aptitude become evident since childhood, get qualified in relevant area, acquired experience in the area of interest and ability, expected and willing to take challenging roles. For example, we have seen before he was ready to join in Baba Atomic Research as well as Indian Space Research Organization, etc. But at a juncture of life, a divine intervention diverted him to the call of his life. Timely, smart, and innovative decisions along the way to be the solution provider for problems in many people's life and an inspiring role model to many of us, the future entrepreneurs. Further, the reasons are that he ensured the regular infusion of fresh talent that has been groomed further to be highly brand conscious and innovative yet market sensitive about the product line and process. That too with strict adherence to the highest possible quality standards to ensure the total customer satisfaction. All achieved on purpose. It was not an accident. All achieved on purpose through high levels of delegation and professional corporate governance systems. Yes, all of these elements have played its role in contributing to the steady growth of the company. Now, let us move on to the views on sustainability of successful ventures. The most important aspect in the sustainability of any successful ventures is for long will be the founder's drive and potential to conceive, create, and continue the venture, where the founder either provide for or able to arrange the necessary inputs, both qualitative as well as quantitative, to facilitate the continuance of the business irrespective of the immediate circumstances. That includes, but not limited to, the continuum of mature and qualified leadership succession in time, innovative yet market sensitive product line and processes, adherence to the highest possible quality standards to ensure the total customer satisfaction and a happy customer pool who returns and refers the brand. Professional corporate governance systems, that is lean and agile. In short, it is the ability to do what has to be done in time in a way that it has to be done. That is what makes the real successful venture a sustainable one. By this, may I conclude, and once again, I thank you all who worked hard from the Institution Innovation Council associated with the Department of Commerce and Management, the Ratnam Institute of College of Arts and Science to make this event a reality. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. So the wonderful presentations. Before that, I didn't hear about the V-Guard. So we know all about the V-Guard is that good brand, but in that depth of the knowledge we didn't get. Okay, I am really appreciate, sir. So your effort is very good. Okay, what could you learn from this study?
In the sense, can you just explain the questions a bit, sir? The question, can you just...
So what could you learn from this studies?
Sir, what I learned is what I have just mentioned in the last two slides. The reasons for their success, as well as what I think about the secret behind a sustainable entrepreneurship. But in one line, I could say it is nothing but the ability of the founder. It is not only the qualification, or it's not only about the technical sides of the business, but his ability to hang on and to push forward whatever the situation. That is the reason why I included all the chronology of the V-Guard growth, because if you just observe closely, you could see that V-Guard is not V-Guard from the beginning. And it was continually evolving according to the situation, according to the need of the hour. So that kind of adaptability and ability to adjust accordingly to the pulse of the field or to the pulse of the market is one of the most important aspects of any entrepreneurial success. Further, as we have mentioned in the beginning slides, that is the reason why we have gone through at such a length about the previous days of Mr. Kochausep. If we observe closely, we could see that an entrepreneur was in making since his birth and throughout his life stages. That's what
Okay.
I learned, sir.
Yeah. So now this V guard moved to A guard, Anthony
Yeah.
guard.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how to compete this company? So A guard is your company, Anthony guard. This
Yeah.
is your company means. How could you compete with the V guard?
If AGuard is in competition with them, initially what I do is I will incorporate all the possible disruptive technologies nowadays. For example, still VGuard is using most of their appliances in the traditional way. For example, they have their water heaters, but unfortunately, still we have to go there and switch on the water heater. But if I'm doing it, what I do is I'll incorporate my IoT technology, that is a sensors and a small chip that connected to a smart home. Because this is the time, or the time that comes up is the possibilities of automation, Internet of Things, machine learning, robotics. That if I'm doing it, I will definitely utilize all the possibilities upfront.
Yeah, nice.
That is a
Any
wonderful question.
questions? Yeah,
Please.
super. Srinivasan sir.
Yeah, sir.
So any questions regarding to you?
So I just have only one question. What is why they have chosen this outsourcing of their production? Is there anything which they lag in anything with their service, or is there like a strategy which they want to follow?
That was another very good question, and I think I have just very briefly addressed the reason. In 1984, there was a employee struggle because I don't know if you are familiar with Kerala and all. We in Kerala were one of the very highly, educated people. Because of that, might be any venture if you start, people will. The trade unionism was very strong in those days. Nowadays, it's far better. Because of that, even people who's not working also, they will charge for nothing. They will simply charge. There is a concept called Nokuguli. That is, if some supply is coming, for example, if the supply is coming in, what happens is the trade union people will come in and they simply stand aside and they let you unload the material. But at the end, they will charge a hectic amount just because they are present there. This kind of situations were there, but fortunately, the present day, it is all abolished. But on those days, it was very strong. So that was the reason. It was a very cunning, very sharp move. It was very intelligent, very smart move. It was for me, because from then onwards, no possibility for a trade union organization to bargain on that. What he did is he simply supplied the know-how and the materials to nearby charitable institutions and very poor people who is willing to learn and work. So what happens is it became a kind of an ecosystem. It was a social support also. That's what it is. Sir, I hope I clear the questions.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
So, Inian, raise the questions or clarifications? And sir, what become you?
What is that, sir?
What become you?
Can you just explain a little bit more?
After completing
Are
your
you looking
IV
for-
program,
Once again, sir?
after completing your IV program,
Yeah.
so what's your plan?
That's another big question. Not a good question, but it's a big question, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, actually, I have there are two plans, sequential plans. Number one, I would like to further continue my studies, as well as at the same time, I have a plan. I'm doing a venture that is to support the small and medium ventures. Right now, there are many ventures who, especially those who take loans from the bank.
Yeah.
What happens is most of the people, the first time entrepreneurs, they apply for a loan because of the governmental pressure or the other departmental reasons. The banks used to allow loans without further questions. But what happens is Most of these first-time entrepreneurs are, in fact, maybe coming into the venture field because of some situational pressure, maybe for earning, maybe because of the family business pressure, maybe because of the pressure from the friends or relatives. In any way, they may come into the business. But what they can do is, they can create a product or can provide a service very well. But apart from that, they don't know much about the professional business systems. That is what I seen a beautiful opportunity. Because of this issue, whatever loans they got from the bank, they start a venture, maybe in a few months, they get struck. That is where I'm seeing an opportunity to support those people with proper vision, support and training, and help them a professional entrepreneur. This will be a real help to the banks also, because when I did my initial survey in the market, many banks I have talked to, and all of them are really desperate because of the same problem, because they cannot hold the loans back and they give. But once they give, that loans become their liability, kind of NPA, that is the non-performing asset. And banks do not know how to handle the situation. That is where I came in. Okay, don't worry, I know your situation, but I can help. The help is something like this. You just let me know who are the people took all the loans from you and who is not performing. So I'm just building a framework to support them. And in connection with your earlier question, if it is AGuard, it may be a big coincidence. That is, the venture name is a Venture Guard. So with your contribution, I'm planning to add it as something like Advanced Venture Guard. Then that will be AGuard. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Any more questions?
So, any clarifications, audience? It's open to you all. No questions, I think. Okay, sir. Srinivasan, sir?
Yeah,
Srinivasan, sir?
Yes,
Yeah, we
sir.
can conclude the session.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful sessions. Okay. So we didn't meet this kind of forum. So anyway, I'd like to thank for the management department, especially Srinivasan sir and HOD madam and the other faculty members. They are getting taking the much effort. Okay. And also a special thank to Anthony. So he's presenting